Hi everybody, I am Kellie Bieser of Shutter and Glass Photography in Columbus, Ohio, and I am a mom with a camera, a family and kids photographer, and a fancy chicken and goat farmer. And I am so excited to be teaching here at Midwest Photo Exchange on Saturday, April 13th, to talk about using Nikon and Profoto for family self-portraits. So I always joke that I became a photographer so I wouldn't have to be in front of the camera. But the reality of it is that I'm a family photographer, and in my family, I am a big part of the family. I love photos of me with my mom when I was a kid, and I'm sure back then she was like, oh, my hair's not right, or oh, I wish I could lose 10 pounds. And I think the same thing when I look at photos of myself. Except I also have this perspective to know that it is so important for me to leave behind a visual representation of how much I love my family, how much I love my kids, and how much I adore being their mom. So sometimes I just have to put that discomfort aside and get in there. And yes, it's, I'm sweating, setting up the tripod and trying to set a timer and run back and forth. And there's always an awkward photo of like my butt as I run back to the spot where the kids are. Luckily, the Nikon app helps that. I can see it right on my phone and just click it, and we'll be talking about that at class on the 13th. But it's always worth the effort. There's always that one shot where I look at it and I see, my kids looking at me like they adore me, which I hope they do most of the time, and me looking at them knowing that I adore them. And I can picture it in, 50 years when they're sitting with their kids and grandkids and hopefully saying like, this is my mom and she loved me and I love her, and I'm gonna cry. So that's kind of impossible because I like all the pizza, but I grew up in Dayton, Ohio, and Dayton, Ohio has a very special kind of pizza. So my favorite pizza is from Marion's Pizza in Dayton, Ohio, and it's got like this crackery, salty crust and too much cheese for one person to like consume without a little bit of guilt, and then they do this like crumbly sausage and onions and peppers, and I can throw down one of those pretty quickly all by myself. It's the best. I currently have 14 baby chicks, 3 full-grown chickens, and 2 goats. And my goats are adorable, but they do not like having their picture taken. So that might be the one pet I ban from family photo sessions, are the goats. So if you have a goat, we might have to leave it at home. But no, I love when people bring puppies and dogs and cats and anything and everything in between. I'm an animal lover for sure. So I think anybody who works in a creative industry has encountered the creative rut, that like wall where you just feel like everything you're making is terrible and you can't find inspiration and you just feel like everybody's doing it better than you, and it's just part of it. I think the best thing you can do is continue to work through it. We're our own worst critics, and the minute you stop creating just because the inspiration isn't there, you're gonna lose momentum and you're gonna stop learning. I find that when you push through those creative ruts, that's when you come out on the other side, that's when you find your best work. So it's almost like strength training. You're working through this. It's like doing that last 5 reps of a push-up. That's when you're gonna start building muscle, and it hurts, but it's worth it on the other side. That being said, I try to surround myself with as much inspiration that's not visual as possible. So there's always music playing in my house. We're dancing. We're gonna go see plays and musicals and do whatever we can to be surrounded by things that'll make me feel inspired to pick up my camera. Oh, yeah, I get stage fright. I think most people do, and anybody who doesn't, I guess they've just been doing it longer than I have. So yeah, when I speak to a big crowd, there's always nerves. I would never call myself a big public speaker, but I do like to have conversations. So the best way to overcome nerves is just to pretend that I'm having a chat with a bunch of friends. And you know, as a photographer, I have a connection with everybody in an audience when they're also photographers. So I just consider it to be a chat, and sometimes I'll bring up a cup of coffee and a pastry with me too, so that I can nibble on that and feel like we're just chatting over coffee, and that helps the nerves, because, you know, we're all just friends.